The life you dream of is not a fantasy, it's a decision away. Most people beg for breadcrumbs when they were born to build a bakery. If you want it, really want it, you must stop wishing and start walking like it's already yours. You don't get what you want by luck. You don't get it by waiting. You get it by becoming the kind of person who expects it, acts for it, and refuses to quit until it's in your hands. The truth is, reality bends for the relentless. You're not here to live a life of quiet desperation. You're here to master your mind, command your energy, and get what you came for. If you're tired of watching others live your dream, this is your wake-up call. These aren't just principles, they're spiritual weapons, mental codes, and emotional triggers that will turn your desire into domination. 10 new unbreakable principles to get whatever you want. Principle number 1. Decide with no return. Decide with no return means crossing the line in your mind where hesitation dies and certainty is born. Where you no longer entertain the idea of failure because you've already buried the option to retreat. This is the point where dreams start breathing. Most people make decisions with escape routes quietly left open. Exit doors in case the pressure gets too high, but greatness never lives on rented ground. You must own your path so fully that even when doubt knocks, there's no door for it to enter. When a warrior steps into battle, he doesn't keep one foot outside the battlefield. He steps in with everything, with nothing to go back to, because only then does the full power of his soul. That's how you have to want your goal. Not as a maybe or a someday, but as a declaration that sounds like war drums in your chest. Burn the mental boats behind you. Don't apply for your dream with a resume. Claim it with your being. The moment you eliminate the possibility of retreat, your mind stops entertaining weakness, your body aligns with your mission, and the universe sees you as someone serious, someone willing to pay the price, not just pray for results. This kind of decision-making requires brutal honesty. No more trying, no more testing the waters. You either step in or you stay out. But if you step in, you go all the way. Winners are not always the smartest or most talented. They are the most committed. They made the decision once and then spent every day proving it. You cannot conquer what you are still negotiating with. The door must shut, the bridge must burn, and the voice inside you must say, it's done. I'm in, and I'm never leaving this fight until it's mine. That's the kind of decision that moves mountains, bends reality, and reshapes the trajectory of your life. Everything changes when quitting is no longer an option. When there's no retreat, only rise. Principle number 2. Want it with a warrior's heart. Wanting it with a warrior's heart means igniting a fire in your soul so fierce that nothing, not failure, not fear, not fatigue, can put it out. Because this kind of desire isn't casual, it's sacred, it's non-negotiable. It's the kind that turns wishes into war cries and transforms dreams into destinies through pure inner force. Most people want, but they want softly. They want if it's easy. They want if it comes quick. They want if nobody laughs at them. But a warrior wants it no matter what. Even when it's hard. Even when no one believes. Because a warrior's want is tied to purpose, not preference. This kind of hunger doesn't wait for motivation, it creates it. It doesn't need applause. It runs off silence, off rejection, off pressure. It becomes stronger in pain, more focused in chaos, and more committed the moment the world says no. You must want your goal like a drowning man wants air, with a desperation that cuts through distractions, with a love so deep for your mission that quitting would feel like a betrayal of your very soul. A warrior doesn't dabble in dreams. They bleed for them. They show up daily, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. They don't wait to feel like it. They fight through what they feel, and their want becomes a discipline, not just an emotion. That's what separates the unstoppable from the ordinary. Most people dream with their eyes closed, but warriors dream with their eyes open and their fists clenched. You have to want it so deeply that no excuse survives in your mind, no obstacle feels final, and no delay shakes your devotion. The warrior's heart doesn't panic, it prepares. It doesn't envy, it executes. It doesn't ask for guarantees, it makes commitments. And if you want to win in life, you must stop flirting with your dream and marry it. Tie your identity to it. Train your will like a weapon. Demand more from yourself than the world has ever dared to ask of you. Let your desire break you down and build you back stronger. Let it humble you, discipline you, mold you until you become the kind of person who doesn't chase success, commands it. Because when your heart wants it like a warrior, you don't just pursue it, you become it. Principle number 3, goals. The truth is, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. And until you understand that identity shapes reality, you'll keep chasing things that forever stay just out of reach, because goals without identity are like seeds without soil. They can't grow, they can't stick, they can't transform anything. So the shift must happen internally first, from setting goals to becoming the person who effortlessly embodies them. Because when you change your identity, your actions follow, your habits align, and the world responds to who you are, not what you say you want. Stop saying, I want to be disciplined, and start declaring, I am disciplined. Not just as words, but as a standard of being, as a daily ritual that seeps into your choices, your environment, your language, your energy. Because when your identity upgrades, your behavior doesn't require as much force. It flows from your new self-concept. Too many people chase money, success, or love like it's something they need to capture, when in reality, they need to become the kind of person those things are drawn to. Because goals are temporary, but identity is magnetic. And when you live from your future self instead of your past, your actions begin to mirror the outcome instead of the obstacle. This is not about faking it, it's about aligning with it, stepping into your vision so fully that the world has no choice but to recognize it. Because you're not just talking about change, you are the change. It's a different kind of power, one that doesn't beg for results but expects them, because deep down you know who you are. Every decision you make either reinforces the old version of you or breathes life into the next evolution. So the real question isn't what do I want, but who am I becoming? Because when that answer is clear, the how takes care of itself. You stop needing motivation because your identity becomes the engine, and showing up becomes automatic, not optional. And yes, it's uncomfortable because you have to let parts of your old self die, your excuses, your smallness, your comfort zones. But on the other side of that death is a version of you so aligned, so undeniable, that success becomes a byproduct, not a pursuit. So stop chasing. Start becoming. Build a foundation so powerful within yourself that everything you used to chase now begins to chase you. Identity over goals. That's the blueprint for unstoppable transformation. Principle number 4, ruthless clarity. Ruthless clarity is the silent superpower that separates those who dabble from those who dominate, because the truth is, confused people don't win, they wander, they hesitate, they drown in distraction while calling it productivity. And life doesn't reward the unclear, it rewards the certain, the focus, the precise. If you don't know exactly what you want, down to the detail, the emotion, the feeling, then don't be surprised when your life reflects that same vagueness back to you. Because vague desires create vague results, and the universe can deliver on maybe, someday, or I think I want. Clarity isn't just a mindset, it's a weapon. And until you sharpen it, you'll keep swinging wildly, hoping something hits. But a warrior doesn't swing blindly. A warrior studies the target. Ruthless clarity means cutting through the noise of other people's opinions, societal expectations, and emotional fog until only your truth remains. What do you really want? Not what's safe, not what's convenient, not what sounds good to others. What sets your soul on fire? What outcome would make you feel alive? Then, why do you want it? Because without a why, your desire will collapse under pressure. Your why is the fuel, the compass, the spine of your ambition. And finally, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because everything has a price. And until you name what you're ready to give up, whether it's comfort, distraction, bad habits, or even relationships that no longer serve your vision, you haven't fully committed. Ruthless clarity requires self-honesty at a level that most people avoid, because it strips away excuses, and when you finally say, this is what I want, this is why, and this is what I'll give to get it, you eliminate the back and forth, the start and stop, and your energy becomes lethal, direct, potent, and unstoppable. You stop multitasking your life and start building something that actually moves forward. You walk into rooms with presence, you speak with conviction, you wake up with direction. It's not enough to be passionate, you need precision. Vague goals like, I want to be successful, or I want to be rich, mean nothing without definition. What does success look like? What does it feel like? What number? What lifestyle? What impact? Break it down. Get specific. Because when you know exactly what you want, you begin to notice the people, the patterns, and the opportunities that lead you there. You move differently. You think differently. You stop wasting time and energy on things that don't align. You become dangerous in the best way possible. Ruthless clarity doesn't mean you never adjust. It means you never guess. You walk your path with your eyes open, your heart certain, and your purpose locked in. And in a world full of noise, distraction, and confusion, that kind of clarity makes you unforgettable and absolutely unstoppable. Principle number 5. Starve, distraction, feed focus. Starve, distraction, feed focus. Because your attention is the currency of your destiny. And every minute you spend scrolling mindlessly, doubting your own path, or comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel is a minute you've handed over to destruction in disguise. It's a silent thief, a slow poison that doesn't scream, it whispers. Just 5 more minutes, just one more reel, just one more scroll. And before you know it, takes one day, to takes one more minute, to takes one more reel, just one more scroll, and before you know it, the day is gone, your power is drained, and your dream is starving while your distraction is fed, fat, and full. In a world engineered to hijack your mind, you must become a guardian of your own focus, treating it as sacred, as non-negotiable, as the oxygen your future breathes. Because it is. The people who rise above, the ones who build legacies and leave marks, they're not always the most talented, but they are ruthlessly focused. They don't let their attention be auctioned off to algorithms, opinions, or false urgency. They decide what matters and eliminate what doesn't. You must learn to say no to 1,000 small things so you can say yes to the one big thing that actually moves your life forward. Every distraction you indulge is a seed planted in the soil of regret, and every focused hour is a brick laid in the foundation of greatness. Doubt is a distraction. Overthinking is a distraction. The opinions of people who aren't building anything are distractions. Comparison is the assassin of identity. It makes you forget your power, forget your path, and start running a race that isn't even yours. But here's the truth. Your dream is fragile, and it dies in the hands of divided attention. You can't multitask your way to mastery. You can't scroll your way to self-respect. You have to choose to feed focus like it's the only thing keeping you alive, because in a very real way, it is. Focus creates momentum, and momentum is the silent force behind every breakthrough. Starving distraction isn't just about shutting off your phone. It's about retraining your mind to stay with the hard thing, to stay with the boring thing, to stay with the right thing long enough for it to work. You have to go beyond motivation. You need discipline, structure, intention. Build your environment for focus. Design your life to protect it, because you will never rise higher than the quality of your attention. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your future grows. So protect it with everything you've got. Starve distraction, feed focus, and watch how fast your life begins to transform. Principle number 6, act before you feel ready. Act before you feel ready. Because if you wait until you feel confident, certain, or fully prepared, you'll be stuck in a holding pattern forever, circling the runway of your potential but never taking off, trapped in the illusion that more time, more planning, or more reassurance will somehow erase the fear. But fear doesn't vanish with waiting. It only grows stronger in silence. The longer you wait, the louder it becomes, and the deeper your dreams sink into the quicksand of hesitation. Confidence is not the starting point. It is the result of forward motion. Clarity is not found in stillness. It is earned through action. Every powerful person you admire didn't begin with the absence of fear. They began despite it. They didn't wait to feel ready. They moved forward while trembling, while doubting, while uncertain. And that's what made them unstoppable. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else matters more. You must move, even when fear whispers that you are not enough, not ready, not worthy. Because fear will always whisper, but progress doesn't wait for silence. It waits for movement. And the moment you take action, the fog begins to lift. You gain experience. You make mistakes that teach you more than any plan ever could. You learn to trust yourself, not because everything works out perfectly, but because you realize you can handle it when it doesn't. That's the real source of confidence. Not success, but resilience. When you act before you feel ready, you step into a new version of yourself. Not because the fear disappeared, but because you prove you could move through it. And every time you do that, your courage compounds. Your inner voice gets stronger, your faith expands. You begin to realize that most of the limitations you believed were real were just walls built by fear, and walls fall fast when you walk straight through them. If you keep waiting to feel ready, you'll wake up one day surrounded by regrets. Not because you failed, but because you never tried. The door you're afraid to walk through might be the one that opens your entire future. But you'll never know if you don't move. So start before you're ready. Speak before you're certain. Launch before you're perfect. Act before the fear has time to build a fortress. Because waiting is a thief, but action is an alchemist. It transforms